Hey everyone, ready for another deep dive? This time we're cracking the code of habits with insights from this fascinating book, Appendix, all about the science behind them.
That's right. We're going to break down how habits actually work so you can start to understand and even change the ones that aren't serving you.
And the best part is we'll keep it clear and concise so you can put these ideas into action right away.
Exactly. We'll get to the heart of it, exploring things like the neurological loop that drives habits, the surprising power of rewards, and even how to pinpoint those hidden triggers that set you off.
I love that hidden triggers. It's like becoming a detective of your own mind.
Exactly. And once you understand the clues, you can start to change the game.
So let's start with this habit loop concept.
hmm
The source explains that habits aren't just random actions. They're built on this three-part neurological loop that's happening all the time, whether we realize it or not.
It's like a feedback cycle constantly running in the background, and every habit starts with the cue, the trigger that sets the whole process in motion.
Okay, so the cue is like the starting pistol, but what happens next?
Well, then comes the routine, the actual behavior itself, the thing you do almost without thinking.
So it's the action that follows the trigger, often on autopilot.
Exactly. It's like a chain reaction cue routine, and then the reward.
And the reward is what really solidifies the habit, right?
Mm.
But what I found so interesting in the source was that the reward isn't always what we think it is on the surface.
Oh, absolutely. There are so many examples of this, like the story about Febreze. Remember that one?
Yeah, that was wild. Initially, the marketing team thought people would buy Febreze just to eliminate bad smells, but their sales were totally flatlining.
They couldn't figure it out because who wouldn't want to get rid of bad smells?
Exactly. It's like a no-brainer. But then through research, they uncovered this deeper truth.
What people actually craved was that feeling of freshness, that signal that cleaning was complete. It was like a hidden reward, a subconscious desire.
So how do we uncover these hidden rewards in our own lives? Like,
Yeah.
is there a way to figure out what's really driving those habits?
The source suggests experimenting. Try swapping out your usual reward with something else and see if you still feel that urge.
So if you usually reach for a cookie in the afternoon, maybe try going for a walk instead and
Yeah.
see if that craving goes away.
Exactly. If you still want that cookie, then maybe it wasn't really about the sugar or the taste at all.
It's like you're testing different theories to see what actually works.
Right. You might discover a deeper need you weren't even aware of. Maybe that cookie was more about taking a break from work or needing a moment of peace.
Fascinating. So we've got the cue and the reward, but how do we pinpoint the cue? It feels like our lives are just a constant stream of potential triggers.
That's where things get really interesting. The source highlights research that suggests almost all habitual cues fall into one of five categories: location, time, emotional state, other people, or the immediately preceding action.
So it's like having a cheat sheet to decode your habits. You're
Yeah.
narrowing it down to these five key areas.
It reminds me of this study on eyewitness testimonies. Researchers could understand why some eyewitnesses were so inaccurate.
Oh, that's interesting. What did they find?
Well, one psychologist had this breakthrough. She shifted her focus from analyzing everything at once to just a few specific cues: the questioner's tone of voice, the witness's facial expressions, and their proximity.
So by eliminating the distractions, hidden patterns emerged.
Exactly. And we can apply that same principle to our own habits by focusing on those five categories when we feel that urge.
Like creating a habit journal, jotting down those details to crack the case.
Precisely. It helps you connect the dots and understand those triggers.
Okay, so this is making so much more sense now. But once we understand the cue, the routine, and the reward, how do we actually take control?
That's where the power of planning comes in, and we'll dive into that after a quick break. It's like having a blueprint to reconstruct that habit, but in a way that actually works for you.
So it's not just breaking bad habits, we're building new ones.
Hmm.
That's awesome. What does that plan look like?
Well, the source talks about this idea called implementation intentions. They're like
Yeah.
if-then statements for your habits.
If-then statements.
I
I like that. So instead of just saying, I want to stop eating cookies in the afternoon, you would say,
If it's 3:30 and I feel that urge for a cookie, then I will walk to a friend's desk and chat for 10 minutes.
I see. So you're directly addressing the cue and the reward and replacing the old routine with something healthier.
Exactly. And it's something you can actually do. It's specific and actionable.
I love that. And I like that it incorporates a social element too.
Yeah, connection can be a powerful reward. And the source even suggests setting a reminder on your phone to help solidify that new pattern.
It's like giving yourself a little nudge in the right direction. But, this framework isn't just for breaking bad habits, right? We can use it to build good ones too.
Absolutely. Let's say you want to start exercising more regularly. You'd start by defining your routine. What does exercising more regularly actually look like for you?
Yeah, you need to be specific. Is it a 30-minute run every morning? or hitting the gym 3 times a week.
Right. And then think about the reward, what truly motivates you.
I mean, the reward for exercise could be inherent the feeling of accomplishment or the endorphin rush.
Exactly. But sometimes you need an extra boost, so maybe you treat yourself to a healthy smoothie afterwards or listen to your favorite podcast.
And, of course, you need the cue to kickstart the whole thing.
That's where those 5 categories come in handy again.
So if I want to make exercise a habit, I could set a reminder on my phone for my lunch break yoga class.
Exactly. Or you could put your workout clothes right next to your bed so they're the first thing you see in the morning.
I love those little environmental cues. They're like setting yourself up for success.
And once you've got your cue routine and reward figured out, you create that implementation intention.
Something like, if I see my workout clothes, then I will go for a 30-minute run.
Exactly. You're creating this mental formula for success.
But even with the best plan in place, we all have those days when we slip up.
Of course, it happens to everyone. Building new habits isn't about being perfect.
So how do we deal with those setbacks, those moments when we miss a workout or give in to that extra cookie?
It's all about self-awareness. The source really emphasizes the importance of knowing when you're most vulnerable to falling back into old patterns.
So if you tend to reach for that bag of chips when you're feeling stressed,
Then you need a plan for dealing with that stress in a healthier way.
like taking a few minutes to meditate or calling a friend for support.
Exactly. It's about having alternative behaviors that you can turn to instead of the old unhealthy routine.
And the more you practice those new behaviors, the stronger those neural pathways become.
It's like building a mental muscle for resilience.
So even if we slip up occasionally, we're still making progress in the long run.
Absolutely. The source highlights that even small changes can have a ripple effect over time.
That's encouraging to remember. Those small, consistent actions really do matter.
The key is consistency. It's a journey, not a destination. There will be ups and downs, but with each step, you're learning more about yourself.
I love that perspective. Progress, not perfection.
And as you continue on this journey, you might find that those new behaviors eventually become a part of who you are.
Habits shape our identity in a way.
It's fascinating. Once a habit is truly ingrained, it becomes almost an extension of you.
Wow, that's powerful. It makes you think about the habits you want to cultivate for their lasting impact.
We're all just a collection of our habits. They shape our character, our relationships, our health, our careers, everything.
That's such a profound thought. It really puts a new spin on the importance of understanding our habits.
And this framework we've been discussing gives you the tools to do just that.
Whether you're breaking a bad habit or building a good one, it's all about awareness, experimentation, and planning.
It's like having a roadmap for personal growth, guiding you towards the best version of yourself.
I love that analogy. But, there's one thing I'm still curious about. What happens when we try to change a habit, but those old cravings keep pulling us back?
Yeah, it can be so frustrating, like you're taking 2 steps forward and then boom, 1 step back.
It's true. Those old cravings, they can be pretty powerful even when you understand the science behind them. So it's not as easy as just like flipping a switch and suddenly you have this brand new behavior.
Not usually. The source really emphasizes that, change is a process and there are going to be bumps along the way.
So you need a plan for the habit itself and then a separate plan for like those moments when you're tempted to revert back to the old ways.
Yeah, exactly. It's about anticipating those moments when you're most vulnerable.
Like when you're stressed and you want to reach for those chips.
Exactly. If you know that's a trigger for you, you can create a strategy to deal with that stress in a healthier way.
Instead of going for the chips, maybe I take a few minutes to meditate or call a friend.
Yeah.
Something to shift my focus.
Right. It's about having other options, those alternative behaviors that you can turn to.
And the more you practice those new behaviors, the easier they become.
Exactly. You're strengthening those neural pathways. It's like building a mental muscle.
So even if you mess up,
Yeah.
sometimes you're still making progress overall.
Absolutely. The source talks about how even small changes can have a ripple effect over time.
That's good to remember. Those little things you do consistently really do make a difference.
Consistency is key. It's a journey, not a destination, right?
I like that. Progress, not perfection.
And as you continue on that journey, you might find that those new behaviors, they become part of who you are.
So like our habits actually shape our identity.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing once a habit's really ingrained. It's almost like an extension of yourself.
That's a powerful thought.
Yeah.
It makes you really consider the habits you want to cultivate in your life.
Because ultimately, we are all just a collection of our habits. They shape our character, our relationships, our health, our careers, everything.
It all comes back to habits. Wow, that's incredible.
And the framework we've talked about today gives you the tools to start understanding and shaping those habits.
Whether you're trying to break a bad habit or build a good one, it all starts with that awareness, then experimentation, and, of course, having a plan.
It's like having a roadmap to guide you towards becoming the best version of yourself.
I love that analogy. I feel like we've given our listeners a lot to think about today.
I hope so, and we'd love to hear from you. What habits are you working on? What aha moments have you had? Share your thoughts with us on social media or send us an email.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into the science of habits. Until next time, keep those wheels turning and keep experimenting.